Am I the a-hole for telling my female friend I don't care about her feelings? I'm getting married in 2 weeks. Last week was my bachelor party and several of my friends attended, women and men. During the party, one of my female friends, let's call her Kelly, got very drunk and confessed to me that she's not happy that I'm getting married and that she thinks my future wife is not a good match for me. She also confessed she's been in love with me since we were 21. Now we are 27. And that it hurt her feelings how I never realized and never did anything about it. Due to the fact that she was drunk, I completely ignored what she said and I was like, fine, okay, whatever, at that moment. I waited till she got sober to see if she'd say anything about this again. And 2 days after the party, she texted me and asked me if I thought about what she said. I told her to elaborate just to make sure she's talking about her confession. She was indeed talking about it, and I told her exactly what I thought. I told her I don't care what she thinks about me and my fiancé being a good match, and she's not the best judge of that since she claims to be in love with me. I also told her that I truly don't care about her feelings towards me and I don't know what she expected to achieve. She was shocked to see me responding like that, and she was like, "You don't need to be rude about this." I replied telling her that of course I'll be rude. She's trying to ruin my wedding by thinking confessing to me will change anything. Told her to come back to reality and realize she's not playing in a movie and her confession is embarrassing. And instead of letting it go and blaming it on the alcohol, she pushed it and expected to see whether she'd actually have succeeded. I told her at this point I don't care about her at all. That girl apparently exposed me to our friends. She didn't tell them the whole story, and I had to explain to everyone what she really said and expected. My friends kept insisting that I acted like an a-hole, and just because I'm getting married, that gives me no right to invalidate my friends' feelings towards me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I also want to clarify one thing. Kelly has not been a good person towards my fiancé at all, especially during our first years together. She only fixed her attitude after I had several fights with her regarding boundaries. Due to her fixed attitude, I believed she changed truly. Now for the top comments. Not stay home. She's had 6 years to tell you how she feels and decided right before your wedding was the right time? Time to unfriend Kelly and go no contact. Also, she was mad he didn't notice she was in love with him and do something about it? Girl, if a boy doesn't notice you're in love with him, and then he falls in love with someone else, that means either A, he was never going to reciprocate your feelings no matter what, or B, you should have said something? Like back when it could have made a difference? As in, before his freaking bachelor party. You do not get to be mad at someone for not reading your mind. Not ever. You do get to be mad at someone for puking nonsense all over you and your relationship right before your wedding. Not a-hole. Are you kidding me? How did this confession not result in you telling Kelly you have been in love with her as well but never revealed your true feelings, out of fear she would not reciprocate? Then you and Kelly fall into bed and you break off your impending nuptials. Oh, because that scenario is a BS bad storyline from a very crappy romance ever written and/or produced. Kelly sucks. She has no respect or care for you as a friend. A real friend would support you and keep their silly crush to themselves. A real friend would have told you of their feelings long before you were in a committed, loving relationship and heading towards marriage. And your friends back in Kelly suck also. Friend or not, we should not co-sign people's messed up behavior. You're not a-hole. I wish you and your fiancé a beautiful wedding and a long marriage filled with infinite love, laughter, and prosperity. This was a funny read. Thank you so much for the well wishes for the wedding. Genuinely confused as to why your friends thought that you needed to be nice to her in this situation. This isn't some time where you were both single and she was pouring her heart out. This was her attempting to blow up your wedding after being historically unkind to your fiancé. If you wanted to be with her, you would be with her. But if you're not, you're with your fiancé. Therefore, you were not invalidating her feelings. You were asserting yours. She was trying to invalidate your feelings and your wants by pulling this last-minute malarkey. You don't have to be rude. Shove off, girl. She disrespected you and your wife and inserted her drama during a time that is supposed to be exciting and blissful for you and your fiancé. What did she honestly expect to happen? Yeah, it sucks to watch someone you like be with someone else. But if you genuinely care for that person, you put on your big adult pants. Let it go, be happy for them, and move on to someone who is actually available. I tried to give her an out by letting it go after the bachelor party, and she decided to escalate the situation. Now she is dragging your mutual friends into her mess? No. Rudeness is exactly what you need to get through this woman. Revoke her invites and go no contact. Not stay home. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my son to leave my house after he announced his engagement? My son Adam's 24 best friend Carlos, 25, passed away over 2 years ago in a car accident. This loss completely devastated Adam to the point where he lost his job. They were like brothers, and our family have known his family for years, so we're also very devastated over this loss. Carlos left behind his girlfriend, their now 4-year-old son. We don't know his girlfriend too well, since he didn't bring her around much. They were on and off till their son was born. Adam told me that he had been seeing and taking care of Carlos's family's needs, which is great. We were glad he was stepping up to make sure that Carlos's family were getting help. Adam also got a new job, and we sort of had limited contact for a few months. He started visiting us lately and looked different in general. He is now more calm and smiles more often. It is even open to talk about Carlos without getting too emotional. I was relieved and happy for him. But last week, he contacted me and his dad and said he had something to tell us. He visited and brought Carlos's girlfriend and child with him. We had dinner, and then all of a sudden, he told us that he and Carlos's girlfriend have started dating and announced their engagement there. I was in shock. I didn't expect this at all. I didn't know what to say, but I felt upset and shocked mostly. Adam noticed my reaction and asked what was wrong. I told him I never expected him to get with his best friend's partner, of all people, and talked about how bad this would look to Carlos's family who are close friends to ours. Carlos's girlfriend excused herself and her son to the bathroom, and Adam and I began arguing. He went on about how I upset his fiancée and that I should be supporting him. But I said that he should have told me, and that he shouldn't have got together with his best friend's partner, and perhaps use her grief to get her to date him. He acted shocked and called me unbelievable. That's when I asked him to leave my house. He got up and left with them. My husband said I messed up by making a scene and reacting the way I did. I went upstairs and stayed alone for an hour. It's been days and Adam hasn't called, and my husband kept trying to get me to speak to him, but I kept saying I needed time. You're the a-hole. It's been 2 years. The girlfriend is allowed to move on and find love again. I'm sure they grew closer in supporting each other, so this isn't surprising. Intimacy is not predatory. You accused your son of being manipulative and predatory without cause. You also made it seem shameful that she's moving on and not starting permanently a grieving widow, which I'm sure she's had to work through the emotions of already on her own. You behaved very badly to both of them. Right, they have something extremely big and important in common. By all accounts, her son is a decent stand-up guy. Why is she assuming he's done something horrible here? You're the a-hole. Not to mention, who else would Carlos want to be with his widow? I have specifically told my husband that if I pass away, that he should remarry, and if he can, he should marry a friend of mine or at least someone that he thinks I would be friends with. I want to get along with a second wife in the next life. This is an easy you're the a-hole. Carlos is dead. It's not like your son and a girlfriend are cheating on him. They probably both bonded through the grief of losing him. Is she supposed to stay single forever? Oh no. It's so terrible that your son and this woman bonded over a mutual loss and have fallen in love, and he decided that he wanted to continue to be in her and her child's life. Woe is you. You're the a-hole. Why are you so keen to find something wrong with his choice? It's not like the girlfriend is cheating. Carlos passed 2 years ago, not 2 days. Get over yourself and beg your son's forgiveness. You're the a-hole. Of all people. They're young, of similar age, and they shared a highly emotional thing. Didn't you suspect that this would draw them closer? It's beautiful that they found something positive in their lives and they'll never forget Carlos. I have friends where the exact same thing happened, and they're a strong, loving couple. I think you owe them an apology. I understand it might have taken you by surprise, but to not apologize now for your behavior would make you the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to resend mom my wedding invite after she gifted my wheelchair-bound, soon-to-be husband running shoes as a joke? I, female 29, met my fiancé, male 32, 2 years ago. He's wheelchair-bound, yes, but he's the most kind-hearted, generous person I've known. I'm not the prettiest or most intelligent one out there, but he accepts and loves me as I am. We met via group therapy because he lost his mom in the same accident that made him disabled. When he met my mom, I'm sorry this bit is hard for me to type out. He really hoped that he'd see her as his own, but she acted a bit rude towards him. She kept making jokes about him and teased him a lot. We arranged for a wedding that meets our budget. My fiancé's mom's death anniversary was last month. Mom joked about him being responsible for the accident, which created a dispute. I told Mom she'd have to apologize for making him cry, and she did. Then 2 weeks ago, she called asking if she could attend his birthday, and he told me to let her come. She came and was all loving and cheerful. She apologized for the past misunderstandings, and my fiancé was confused by her change of heart. We had a great time, till after dinner when she gave him a box saying this was her gift for his birthday. He opened it, and what we saw was a pair of Nike running shoes. He looked at her, and she started laughing, then said something about being optimistic and hoping he'd use them one day. I lost it, and we both started yelling at each other with her saying it was just a joke. I said this was utter humiliation because she was basically rubbing it in his face that he is how he is. My fiancé said it was okay, but I had her step outside to talk. She kept arguing, saying she didn't mean for this to play out like that, and that he was being too sensitive and could use more therapy because his reaction should have been to laugh. I said she's no longer welcome to the wedding. She acted shocked, saying I was really taking this too seriously, but I insisted that she send back the invite. My dad joined us and begged that I take time to calm down and not make a decision I might regret later. She got into the car and was crying. Dad said we'd talk later, but I said nothing to talk about after she insulted my fiancé in front of my friends. Dad then got into the car and left. The birthday party got awkward, which led to guests leaving early. Dad kept calling me after I got the invite back to try to act like a mediator between us and got the family involved. They said this is my mom, and while she might have done something that was seen as offensive, excluding her from the wedding is too much, and asked me to resend her the invite so we could get this over with, but I kept saying no. Now for the comments. Not a-hole. I still can't get past the fact that she joked about being responsible for his mother's death. Yes, she could have started this with, "My mom's a monster." Not a-hole OP. I fear the statement is correct, and it's a fact that it's your mother that is in need of therapy to find out why she's so actively toxic, and maybe your father to root out why he is accepting of it. My soon-to-be husband's mom's death anniversary was last month. Mom joked about him being responsible for the accident, which created a dispute. Joked? Haha, you killed your mother. Is a joke? I would have cut her off after that one, and kept my husband away from her going forward. Just because she's your egg donor doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with her. Some people don't deserve it. Not a-hole. My only concern here is how you spoke about yourself. Firstly, it sounds like you have self-esteem issues, and that's likely from your mom. Your husband using a wheelchair doesn't make him less, and he isn't settling for you. He loves you, and you him. I wish you every happiness. Your mom has had a lot of opportunities to behave and improve her choices, and she hasn't. She isn't sorry, and I hate to think of her behavior on the day. No attitude change would be no invite, and continued clear boundaries. That said, people who use wheelchairs can still have cool shoes, and had she not made the jokes, I'd consider it a good gift. Completely agree, especially with the first paragraph. He is not with you because he accepts that you're not the prettiest or most intelligent out there. He's with you because he loves you. And you don't have to ever make excuses why you are with him either. Wishing you both a lifetime of mother-free happiness. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for wearing all white to my best friend's wedding and refusing to apologize? My 30 female best friend, 32 female, invited us, husband and I, to go on vacation with them at South Padre Island. She told me to bring the dress I wore to my last anniversary dinner for the special dinner/event she planned during the vacation. I said sure. I also recently gave birth, and that dress is an elegant black lace over nude dress that is very classy, but also form-fitting. When I tried it on when packing, I realized it wasn't as flattering and my boobs had a hard time fitting. So I packed a cute semi-formal white lace dress instead. I figured it was close enough. I arrived to the event and found out it was a surprise wedding where she only invited like 20 guests on the beach. She hadn't told me it was her wedding because of an inside joke. I kept telling them to get married and watch that they will elope. The next thing we know, they are married. She was horrified, and so was I. I didn't bring any other dress. Plus, there was no time to change/buy a new dress. Also, surprise, I'm the maid of honor. I offered to either not be the maid of honor or leave the wedding, but she'd rather me not. Later, she blamed me for ruining her wedding because I didn't follow her instructions to wear a specific dress and didn't tell her about changing my mind. I said I'm sorry her wedding was ruined, but it wasn't my fault, and she should have told me it was her wedding. And at the time of packing, I didn't find it appropriate to get her approval on my outfit. Lol, came here fully prepared to call you the a-hole, but you literally didn't know it was a wedding. It's a shame for the bride, but that's a risk you take when you pull a surprise like that. Not stay home. 100% agree with this. The bride didn't foresee any potential problems with her surprise. This is an important lesson for her about expectations versus reality. It makes me sad that she thinks you ruined the wedding because you wore white to a surprise. To me, a wedding is ruined if like the groom doesn't show up. You're not a-hole at all, and if they're happily married, you didn't ruin a thing. A real friend would be like, you remember the time you showed up to my surprise wedding wearing white? And we all have a laugh about it for years. My new sister-in-law came to see me as I was getting dressed for my wedding. She was wearing the exact same dress as the one I brought to change into before leaving the reception. We thought it was hilarious and made sure we got lots of pictures together. What made it even funnier was that we had each other described our dress to the other prior to the wedding, but apparently neither of us did a great job at that. I really think about half of the posts on this subreddit could be solved with this attitude. Don't people know a good story when they see one?